and welcome to Decision NYC with Ben Max here on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. I'm Ben Max, your host and the executive editor of Gotham Gazette. I'm here with mayoral candidate Raja Flores, who's appearing on the Humanity United ballot line on this fall's general election. Raja, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
So tell people a little bit about who you are, where you come from, your background, bringing you to this race for mayor.
So basically, I'm a surgeon. I'm a chairman of one of the leading thoracic surgery departments in the world. I'm also a native New Yorker. I was born and raised in this city. I grew up poor with a single mom who worked as a secretary, and we relied on affordable housing to survive. And it was programs like Children's Aid, Higher Achievement Program, Higher Education Opportunity Program, and the sports programs like CYO and PAL that made me get exposed to the male role models and help with the guidance that I needed to get an education and to succeed. And now as a surgeon, I take care of patients in East Harlem, and a lot live in similar conditions like myself and my mom, where they're exposed in their homes to asbestos, lead, mold, in their public housing, NYCHA, where I've had to remove half of people's lungs because of this. These are the same people that showed up when COVID hit. Many of them work in the hospital. And as every day passes, more and more get sick. And as a surgeon, there's only so much I can do. And as a mayor, you can be able to affect policy that can actually save lives. And that's why I'm running for mayor.
Thank you. So in your time living in New York City and your life experiences and watching the political world here unfold, what political, governmental policy lessons have you learned from the mayors that you've watched that would inform your decision making as mayor of New York City? Are there certain policy ideas that you've seen over decades that you would try to replicate? Are there things that city government has been doing for a long time that you believe just completely need to be done away with? What are some of those principles that you feel like you've learned from living in the city, watching its political life unfold and its leadership?
So I have to say, I haven't been impressed by a single mayor since I've been living in this city, starting back to as far as I can remember from the 1970s. When I historically do my homework to look at whose policies that I can best relate to, it's interesting. The one who I go back to is Fiorello LaGuardia. And it's interesting because Fiorella means flower in Italian, and Flores, my name is flower in Spanish. But when I look back on how he started public housing and how he fought for the little guy, nowadays, the little guy gets thrown under the bus so the big guy gets paid. And we're seeing that especially in the corruption of both the Democrat and the Republican parties. That duopoly has monopolistic power on every decision that gets made in this city. And when you follow the money, you realize that decisions are being made based on money and not based on what's in the best interests of the people.
And so how do you root that out? And what are the sort of principles, and are there policies? Is it just about electing the right person, someone running on an independent ballot line like you are? What are the ways to implement change to make sure that the right decisions are being made for the right reasons?
I think you got to shine a light on it. I think the key is transparency. You have to shine a light on how money is being distributed in the city. There's so much backroom dealings going on, especially within the political parties. They control the rules of the election. There's a reason why all the attention goes to the Republican and the Democrat candidates. When you look at the population of New York City, independents actually outnumber Republicans by 2-1. There are 1 million independent New York voters, but we don't have a say or a voice to be heard because the Democrat and the Republican political industrial complexes, which include media, talking heads, corrupt politicians, power brokers who make money from decisions that are made, certain big real estate, where they're all in cahoots. They're all making money and not making decisions that's in the best interest of the people. So how do you deal with that? You shine a light on it, you get lobbyists out of the political decision-making process, and you make sure that it's done with equal justice.
Can you say a little bit more about your decision to run this race, have a successful surgeon, not a actor in the political realm, not someone who's held another office. The decision to run for mayor of New York City, obviously in a campaign with a lot of hurdles to overcome to be victorious. What's at the root of that, and why not run, for a different elected office to get into government, and then sort of work your way up as many often do?
That's a good question. A lot of people have asked me that question. Why the hell are you running? You're going to take a huge pay cut. Why would you do something like that? And, the reality is, I was born and raised in this city. I grew up with my mom, and this city helped raise me. All these little programs that were in this city that helped me stay off the streets, that helped me not become a drug dealer. Well, I guess I'm a drug dealer in some sense, but an illegal drug dealer that helped me stay away from crime. I feel like I owe it to this city because I understand it. I understand the people in this city. I take care of them every day. It's not like I would be a politician that's far removed. Every day I see in the office people who are on both sides of the spectrum. Like I said, I take care of a homeless person in one room and a billionaire in the other room. And you realize they all bleed the same blood. We're all one, and there's too much division going on because it benefits the people who get paid by the political parties. The more that they can divide and conquer, that fills up their pockets. I've never been about money. I can't ask people for donations. That may be my Achilles heel for being a politician, but I have not asked a single person for a donation because inside I realize once you do that, you owe them a favor. You put it out there, and if they want to donate, fine. But money has really been the root of our political corruption. It's an important thing that we can exchange. It's how the free market works. Absolutely. But it has been the guiding part of what people make decisions based on is how does it influence their pocketbook? And that is something that I would like to change.
So let's go from the very big there to much more specific. Day one as mayor, or week one, what two big priorities would you gather your cabinet together, your top officials that you're putting into place in your administration? What are two big priorities you would sit everybody down and say, these are going to be signature issues and achievements and policies of my first term, and we need to get them moving now? What would be at the top of that list for specific policies and programs that you would put into place?
So I think you have to listen to the public. Right now, the public is worried about crime. I would make Manuel Gomez, who's a crime expert, as my first deputy mayor. Let him take care of the crime. He's an expert in it. I will make sure that constitutional rights are not violated. But he would need to be in charge of making sure that that crime was handled in the right way. He's a professional. My reason for running has to do with public housing. I have seen many people who are innocent people, who are hardworking people, who pay rent, who go to work every day, where they have been suffering from poor housing conditions, exposure to asbestos, their children exposed to lead, mold. I've had to remove people's lungs because of mold contamination, something that is very preventable. I can't fix this problem in the operating room. It has to be in the political arena. So I took an oath to take care of people. Whether I need to do it with my knife or whether I need to do it as mayor, I will do whatever needs to be done. The problem is that as a surgeon, I can't stop that. And there has to be a way for me to do something to help protect 500,000 New Yorkers. This city took care of me. I've got to take care of it back.
Thank you. So in our final 30 seconds here, tell us one or two, since it's a top priority for you, just one or two things you would do at NYCHA to improve conditions there.
So first of all, it has to be funded. And it has to be funded in a way where the money doesn't get squandered to corruption. People have to be accountable for what they fix. You can't have tickets work tickets just get checked off. Oh, this was done. Meanwhile, there's a gaping hole still in the wall. There's still stuff leaking and mold being done in there. So there has to be accountability. There has to be hands-on management. So as mayor, it's like as a doctor, I round on my sickest patients in the morning. What would I do? NYCHA, public housing, that's my sickest patient. I would round every morning. I would go to a NYCHA complex, go through every part, not just do it with pictures and photo ops. Go to every NYCHA complex every morning from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock and find out what's happening here. Speak with the residents there and find out what's the real deal.
That's a big and specific promise to end on. We've given folks a bit of a taste of your candidacy here. Raja Flores is appearing on the Humanity United ballot line, running for mayor. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Decision NYC with Ben Max here on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. We hope this and other interviews and debates help you get ready to make your choices in the general election this fall for mayor and other offices. I'm Ben Max. See you next time.